What's going on, everybody? Happy day 3. We're probably just gonna run it like this on Instagram again and just stream it this way, just because 'cause we're having issues again with it. Um, Today we're gonna talk about an interesting topic. I think that, a lot of people struggle with conquering fears, okay? So, if you guys are joining me for the first time, I'm doing 29 days here in February, and you guys can join me. I'm going to be talking about a lot of different things that have happened in my personal life, that have happened in my business, just things that have really um, challenged me and how I got through all of those challenges. The goal is throughout these 29 days, you should be able to apply all of the things, even if it's just one thing in each day, one thing that I've said, one perspective shift to help you with the very thing that's holding you back from the next thing. And fears are going to be a huge part of this. Okay. So if you guys can, every time you guys tune in every morning, let me know just to make sure the connection's good. I don't know if it's lagging. I'm having these weird things on YouTube where I'm not live, but people are commenting and it's showing live. And then Instagram, I can't connect here, but it's showing that I'm live. So if you guys can, just let me know in the comments if I'm coming through okay, or if I go silent or whatever, just so I can make the adjustments. I'll probably have all of these recordings somewhere. It's either going to be on my YouTube, it's going to be on my probably not Instagram. Instagram's being a little weird. It'll be somewhere for you guys. So if you need to catch the recording, because obviously I ramble and shit, you guys are going to be able to catch that. So let's just kick things off and talk about fear. Fear it's a interesting subject because not a lot of people talk about it. I think that there's a lot of people in the world that basically say you're not supposed to have fear. IG's good, appreciate you, Melray. Facebook is good, appreciate you. It says Facebook user, so I don't know. Tina, YouTube, see you, thank you. Um, so I want you guys to think about like your life right now, like in this moment. So yesterday we talked about being present, right? Being grateful for the now, being grateful for the moment. But let's talk about the present and current fears that you have. I don't know where everybody is. I coach people from all over the world, from people in the corporate life, people that are entrepreneurial, people that are already crushing it in business. So I have a huge variety of people that are following me. I don't know where you're specifically at, but the thing is there's a fear that's holding you back from something. There's a fear holding you back from the next level. If you're a business owner, there's a fear of being on camera. There's a fear of taking your business to the next level. There's a fear of being front and center. If you're an aspiring coach, there's a fear of letting your gift and genius out there into the world because of fear of judgment. There's a lot of fears when it comes to the coaching industry. Um, Going online, the world is going online. So if your business is not transitioning online, then there's a huge area of opportunity. But there's a lot of fears because then you got to learn a whole new set of skills. And what that means is you're going to have to fail. And people don't want to fail because they fear failure. You can see there's a constant when it comes to fears. There's fears in so many different ways that hold us back. If you're in your career and you want to get a promotion, there's fear about, am I going to get selected? Am I going to be the person that gets skipped over again because somebody's more senior to me, even though they're a shitbag? It happens a lot. If you're in your career and you want to get a raise, asking for a raise, asking for more money because of the work that you put in, day out, there's fear associated with that because what if you get rejected? So now we have fear of rejection. It's not even just in career or business, it's relationships, maybe in your marriage. You wanna be more open, more honest with your wife, and for some reason, you can't because you've never had a father figure show you what that looks like. You've never had people in your life to show you what it looks like to be open, honest, and vulnerable with somebody. So there's fears associated with that because now you're letting somebody into your heart and soul. If you are not married and you're dating, but you want to propose, you want this person to be your fiance, there's going to be fear of rejection. What if I propose and even though I'm like madly in love, this person says no? There's fear of that because if you're rejected there from a place of love, then who are you? And there's so many things that come up with that. If you're single, there's a fear of success if you're not looking for a relationship right now, and then there's fear of being alone, not ever being able to find a relationship that you want to be a part of. So I want you guys to understand that there's so many different fears that all humans deal with on a daily basis. And those fears are actually indicators. And I'll expand on that a little bit more, but I just want you to start becoming aware. Being able to break through to your next level requires a high level of awareness. You have to be intentional with becoming aware of where you're at in your life. You have to be aware with how your emotions are. You have to be aware with your mental state. You have to be aware with like all of these things that become e-breaks for you. If you're not aware, this is where you start living life like a zombie. This is where like you just kind of go through the motions. And I did that shit for years. This is literally when I used to go through the motions, I used to have to like numb myself, and what I mean by numbing myself is trying to feel. So I used to tell myself, okay, if I get drunk, I'll be able to like not overthink. If I get drunk, I'll be able to enjoy myself. If I smoke weed, I'll be able to like feel happy. I'll be able to de stress. And I gave myself all of these different excuses. If I do this thing, it's going to help me do what I should be able to do for myself. And it's because we're afraid to kind of look at our demons in the eyes. We're afraid to actually like conquer ourselves. That's the thing. And fear, nobody teaches us this stuff. Nobody teaches this in school. Nobody teaches this to us usually in our household. I don't know about you guys, and please tell me, in the chat, did your parents ever pull you aside and say, "Hey, fucking Bob, let's talk about fears. Let me teach you how to conquer your fears." Or you might have, like, maybe you're playing sports in school and you're like, "Hey, mom, dad, I'm afraid, and I don't think I can do this," and then they instill belief in you. For me, I didn't have somebody to instill belief in me. For me, I didn't have somebody to just be like, "Hey, you got this, bro. Like, you'll be fine. You can conquer your fear. You can do this." I don't know about you. I've never had that, and so growing up, when you think about not ever having that, it's not normal for you to think in this way, which is why my hope is throughout these next 29 I'm instilling different thought processes to get you thinking in a way that maybe you were never taught, because I had to teach myself a lot of this shit, and I've had to invest quite a lot of money to learn how to figure out what I even need to think about in the first place, what my e-breaks were. So as you continue to reflect today, join me, reflect with me, think about the fears that are holding you back. And if you don't believe there's something holding you back, I want you to ask yourself, are you living the life that you want to live? Like just be brutally honest with yourself. You don't have to tell anybody. You'll always know at the end of the day. Are you living the life that you can be proud of? Are you living the life that every day you wake up and you're like, "Damn, I I love my shit. I love my life. I kinda love everything that I've created for myself," And like, here's the thing, you can't be like, "I love my life. I love everything I've created for myself, but I'm not there yet." You see what I'm saying? Because now you're cutting off something good and you're ending it with something bad. You're ending it with something that you have not yet acquired, which means that you're not actually grateful for where you're at specifically in life. So if you don't think you have fears, just be brutally honest with yourself. Are you happy with where you're at exactly in your life in all areas? In all areas, 100% of your life, health, wealth, relationships. If the answer is no, start there. If you're really like, no, I'm fucking good, then ask yourself, do you deserve more? Can you have more in life? And if the answer is yes, then again, there's a fear there. Why aren't you getting after it more? Why are you just settling for the success you currently have? Why not take things to the next level? What's the fear associated with it? Start understanding that our fears in life and in business are indicators of the path we need to take that we're afraid of taking. We need to take that road, but it's a scary road. It's a dark road. We don't know what the fuck's down there. If we're gonna get stabbed, if there's gonna be I don't know, a bear, something's gonna jump out from the bushes and fucking scare us. I don't know. That path is the exact path we need to walk down, though. Most people are primed because of, again, programming. We kind of like talked about this in yesterday's session. Programming and what the world tells us is normal. When we see something we're afraid of, the first thing we do is flee. We're just like, oh shit, you know, I don't want to do that, or I shouldn't do that because my safety. And then we start trying to create safety for ourselves. But the truth is, when you break out of programming, the fears are the exact things that are going to show you to yourself. Those fears are the exact doorways to your next evolution. but we've been programmed not to go through that. Why? I don't fucking know, Like, there's some people that have, like, I haven't gone down this rabbit hole. People talk about, like, Illuminati. I don't fucking know. People talk about, like, the Matrix and things like that. I do believe there's something of the Matrix that's true. I do believe that there is programming in the world where everybody's taught to think a certain way, and the people that break out of that are the people that become hyper successful in life because they just don't do the norm. And when you think about having extraordinary fucking results, you can't be ordinary. And ordinary is what the sheep do. And so what I want you guys to do is start breaking out of what's normal to you. So we've been programmed to believe that when we're afraid of things, that we have to focus on our safety and not do those things. But if you think about that, if we always submit to our fears, how do we ever get to the next level? If we always like submit to our fears, how do we ever create true belief in self? And if we never create true belief in self, how do we ever feel confident in life? Just things to think about. When we consider all the fears, what I mean by it's a doorway to your next level. I'm going to use a couple like varied examples of this just so that way we go from like super basic third grade level to like something probably more relevant to all of us right now. Let's use swimming in a pool. It's a fear, right? The first time, unless you're Michael Phelps and shit, first time you go swimming in the deep end, you're afraid. You're scared. You're just like, "Oh shit, I'm about to jump in the pool. What if I drown? I don't know. I've never swam before." Leading up to that thing you've never done creates a lot of fear. Leading up to a moment you've never experienced leads to a lot of fear. But if we get to that point and we're just like, "Oh shit, I'm so scared. I'm just so scared to jump in this pool." Is the version of us that, like, turns around, walks away, and just never gets in the pool ever again, is that the best version of us? Or is that, like, the weakest form? Because now we're like, we're never gonna go to the beach and swim. We're never gonna swim into the swimming pools. We're never gonna experience that part of life because of fear. Think about what that instills in us, in our mindset, in our mentality with all things. If I can't jump in a pool, how can I change my life? But when we conquer fear and we're just like, "Damn, this is scary as hell. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm pretty damn sure that I can, like, paddle my ass 5 feet to grab onto something. I'm pretty sure if I'm wailing around like I'm drowning, I'm pretty sure somebody's gonna jump in. There's, like, tons of people here. I'm pretty sure, like, it will be I might get some fucking water in my nose, but I think I'll be fine." And then you start coaching yourself. Just like yesterday's topic, you start being the drill instructor of your own life. You're just like, "You got it. There's obviously no way that you could completely die from this." Now, obviously, okay, don't be an asshole. There's people that actually drown in life, but you get what I'm saying. You jump in, and then what do you find? You can swim. What you find is you might get a little bit of water up your nose, but, like, you're fine. You're good. You might even find that, like, you can tread water and you didn't even know you could tread water. The moment you get out of that pool, after you conquered that fear, how did you feel? Do you guys remember that stuff? Do you guys even think about this stuff anymore? If not, you should. Self mastery requires you to master self. Self mastery requires you to think back on your past, all of the good, the bad, the ugly, and learn the lessons maybe you didn't extract from it because you were experiencing it. So think back when you got out of the pool, didn't you feel like, oh shit, like nothing can crush me? Nothing's going to drown me. I can do this again. You know what? I am going to do it again. I'm going to jump in the deep end again. And then you run your ass around. I don't know why we do that. Do you guys do that too? Get out of the pool and then you run around like from the same spot you jumped versus just jumping back in. I don't fucking know. Maybe that's just me. Um, and then you jump in, and then then you feel alive. You feel like this rush of being alive. Do you see how when we conquer our fear, we actually live? When we conquer our fear, we actually get to be present in the moment, and that's why we live. That's why we feel full because we chose to fill our own cup. When we think about, that's earlier years. When we think about adolescence, let's just go past high school, maybe getting your first job, going into the military, whatever the fuck. It wasn't it scary to go from like, "Hey, you're just in high school to now you're like this adult person. I don't know about you guys, but, um, you know, interviewing and shit, it was scary for me before. Like, I was just like, "Damn, I got all these fucking people I don't even know that are gonna judge me and then, like, not offer me a job." For me, because again, I had a lot of confidence issues back then. That was a big thing for I used to choke up about that shit. So then we're afraid to, like, apply for places, we're afraid to apply for, like, these higher level positions, we're afraid to do this thing. And, some people really just don't go after their dreams because they're just afraid of being rejected there, and then they miss out on opportunity. There was this, movie, I don't know if you guys have ever watched it. It's about that dude that, like, applied for NASA, like, 13 times or something across, like, 10 years, and he just kept hammering. He just kept figuring out, like, "Alright, cool. If I apply for this thing and I get rejected, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna crumple up the paper and walk away? No. I told myself I'm gonna be an astronaut." I don't have you guys ever watched that movie? It's a great movie, go watch it. Um, I don't know what it's called. I'm terrible with movie and song references. But for 10 years, this guy, he's like I think like a Mexican immigrant. He came from nothing, but he wanted to do this thing. He dreamed of this thing, but he got rejected. But what did he choose to do? He chose every year to apply again. He chose to conquer his fear, even though each year it was, I'm going to stop. I don't know if I should do this. Is this a waste of time? Am I ever going to get in? Years passed, but he started becoming more intentional when he almost gave up. He started making sure that he padded up his portfolio. He padded up his resume. He started taking these advanced courses. He started learning different languages. He started mastering his fear. He said, I'm not going to let these rejections affect my ability to do what I said I'm going to do, what I set out to do in my life. 10 years, guys, that's commitment right there. To be rejected constantly year after year after year. And remember, the dude is like working out, he's doing everything he possibly can year over year, stacking on more stuff, putting his life savings into becoming who he needs to be to get rejected for a decade. When we think about people that have that underdog story, that's what commitment is. That's what it looks like to conquer fear. That's like, it doesn't matter in what timeline I achieve the goal that I set out for, I'm going to achieve the goal. But can you imagine where that guy would be? I mean, like, it's a great, I mean, dude's on fucking Netflix. It's like a real story. Imagine if he never did that. Imagine if he tried once and he failed and he got rejected and he was just like, "Oh, well, that was scary and I got rejected. So I think that this is not for me." Think about all of the I mean, it inspired me to watch his story. Imagine the millions of people that have probably watched that special that know his story that would have never gotten inspired. Imagine all the US immigrants or whatever the fuck we're called, right? People that immigrated to the United States and are fucking immigrants, whatever. Imagine like all of the people that immigrated to the United States that are like, hey, I want something more for myself. Imagine all of those kids, the children that have watched that would not have been inspired to know what's possible for them. Think about that. When you don't become who you're meant to be in this world, think about the hundreds or the thousands of people that you don't even know you may indirectly be affecting or not affecting in a good or negative way. Think about that. But again, our programming is we're just normal people. We can't possibly be that black sheep. We can't possibly be that person that's gonna become like this name that inspires the world. We can't be. We don't come from nothing. We don't come from anything that even indicates that we're gonna be those people. We don't have anybody around us that indicates that we're gonna be those people. Like, there's nothing showing us right now in the present time that a decade from now, we're gonna be those people. So, when we don't believe that and we're just like, "I can't be that person," there's a lack of belief of you being that person. There's a lack of belief in the self. But what if? That's how I want you guys to start living, like, from today on. What if, though? What if you could be that person? What if you're meant for something? What if you were meant for something more? What if you were meant to change the world? What if? And it's crazy for people to say that because then what happens? All of the weakness of the world comes. They're like, ooh, somebody's taking a stand outside of programming. We have the crab mentality. Let's bring everybody down that dreams bigger than us. And what does that do? It affects people because of prior programming in their personal life. Then they're just like, oh shit. Well, I just said I'm going to do this big bad thing. Now I got all these people, even my loved ones, bringing me down, acting like crabs. Like I'm trying to get out of this fucking bucket of life that we've been living. And all the other crabs of the world are bringing me down. Maybe I shouldn't do this. Because what do we have? Then we have the fear of failure. Okay, if I fall flat on my fucking face and I just said I'm going to do this thing, damn, what if they're right? What if I say all of this stuff and I actually fail? What if? And then we start getting to the fears of the what ifs. So everything cycles through fears, but imagine if you could catch yourself in the moment, just like, oh shit, well, let me just stop for a second. Let me just like slow the fuck down. Okay. So I'm afraid. I'm afraid that I'm saying all of these things, that I'm going to change my life, that I'm going to do these things for my family. I'm going to be this person, this vital person in our bloodline that's going to change everything for us. I'm going to be that person. And now I'm afraid because I'm afraid that I'm not going to be that person. I'm afraid that I might not be able to do it. I might not. Imagine if you just sat there and you're just like, but why don't I think I can? And instead of just like, I might not, and then like emotionally and spiritually just shutting down, what if instead you're like, well, let me think about this. Like, why the fuck do I feel like this in the first place? Let me think about this. And then you start sitting there and you're just like, well, what am I afraid of? So I want to be this like vital person in my bloodline where like, if like hundreds of years pass by, my grandchildren and my grandchildren will look at the timeline, their history, their what is it, the family tree, and they're gonna know when I was born and in my lifetime, our family went like from where we were at to like up. I don't fucking know whether that's like now we don't have divorces in the family. Now we're in a better financial position. Now we've like leveled up from like living in dirt and then not living in dirt. At this moment in time, through the one life I lived, I was able to change us where we were headed, our trajectory. Why am I afraid that I can't be that for us? Well, nobody in my bloodline's ever done anything more than I have, like literally. Even at the stage where I'm at, nobody's ever surpassed this. And that's scary because you guys are already the tip of the spear. Think about it. Like you probably have a better upbringing than your parents. Your parents probably had a better upbringing than their parents. So you're already the tip of the spear, whether you feel successful or not. You're already at the forefront of this whole thing, whether you realize it or not. And you might be thinking, well, Phil, I'm still in a 9 to 5 job. Phil, my business is not where I want it to be. Phil, I still haven't gotten married or I don't have the family yet. Like, how could I possibly be that? But you are. Think about it. In comparison to the previous generations, aren't you much further along and ahead in all areas than your parents? Aren't you? Think about it. Majority of us are much further along than our parents at this time. When they were our age, think about where they were. Aren't you further along? And if you're not, then you got to ask yourself why you don't feel like you are. Because further along doesn't always have to be like the physical environment. It could be like spiritually, it could be emotionally, it could be like your sense of awareness, because you can still be the tip of the spear. You can still be the person that changes it all. But what do you do with this knowledge now? Are you going to implement it or are you just going to be like, oh shit, I am a little bit ahead. I am different. Oh, my mentality is different. My work ethic's different. My understanding of life is different. You're already further ahead. Now, the question is, how far do you want to take this? How far do you want to go? Do you want to like carry the burden of being this person more? Or is this it for you in your timeline? Are you like, okay, I've made it this far. I'm not living the life that I want to live, but I don't know if I can handle more. I'm just going to settle down and then that's it. And then my kids can take it from here. Are you going to be that person? Which is fine, settle. That's what it's called. I'm going to settle down. Settle down. You're going to stop. You're going to slow down. And you're going to let your kids carry the torch. And if that's your story, that's your story. But the reason why you're here with me every morning is because that's probably not you. And there's probably something calling to you where it's like, I feel like there's something bigger for me out there. I don't know what the fuck it is. I just have this weird sense that if something happens, I don't know what it is. I just feel like there's a breakthrough. I just feel like there's a different life for me. I just feel like there's something for me. I don't know what it is. It's like itchy. It's like there's an itch that I have. And I'm just like, I just keep scratching it. And I'm just like, Jesus, there's something here. But what is it? And that's the purpose, guys. I want you to remember that's the purpose. The purpose is to keep digging until you uncover it. It's not you, it's like digging up a fossil, right? You like dig or whatever, and then you fucking see like a finger, I don't know, of a dinosaur. Imagine if you're like, oh, I don't see the whole dinosaur. I don't even know if there's a whole dinosaur here. Then you're kind of like, you're not appreciating what's happening. But if you're like, oh shit, I just found a finger of a fucking T-Rex. I don't know what would excite somebody that does that shit. I found a T-Rex. And then you know that there's something else that you're going to find the rest of the arm. You're going to find the big ass head. You're going to find the body. You're going to find the tail. You're going to find the feet. Like, look forward to it. Once you uncover it, once the itch is there, once you've seen a sign, keep digging. Keep, what is it? Fucking, I was going to say, investigate. Evacuate? That's not it. You guys know what I'm talking about. Fucking excavate. There you go. Excavate the shit out of that thing. Uncover yourself, find yourself, and just be like, all right, cool. There's an itch. There's something here. There's something calling me. Dig right here. Dig. Because you have to understand there's something that's buried beneath you, beneath all the programming. And when you start digging, you start uncovering different parts of yourself. And you're just like, oh shit, there's something here now. I can start to see it. I can see that I have potential. And once you understand you have potential, what happens is that fear that you normally had is gone. Or it's lesser. Okay, I won't say it's gone because you're still learning how to conquer it. It's lesser now because now you're just like, I see my potential. I see what's possible for me. And because I see what's possible for me, I have a reason to wake up tomorrow. Oh shit, that's different. Most days I'm like, I don't even want to wake up tomorrow. I just want to go to sleep and just fucking whatever. But now that I see potential in me, I see like what's like, I don't even know where this is gonna go, but I see something's possible for me. Tomorrow I want to wake up so I can keep fucking digging this shit and just figuring out what is this? What did I find? What did I find in me? Guys, do you realize that it's just this rotation of finding your fear, then you see your potential, that's how you conquer your fear. That's how you start tapping into your purpose. Because now you're starting to find the purpose of your life. Why am I going to wake up today? Why am I excited to wake up tomorrow? Why am I excited to go to sleep tonight so I can wake up tomorrow? Do you see how like once you understand that fear is simply a doorway to your next evolution, and it helps you see and realize your potential, which then leads you to your purpose, that's where life really starts to change. Because even if the variables of life don't change, even if you're at the same job, even if you're in the same business, even if you're in the same marriage or you're not in a relationship, even if the conditions haven't changed, you've changed. And when you've changed for long enough and you commit to the path and you stay disciplined, why wouldn't your external world change? Think about that. As you continue to develop and change internally, wouldn't you be making different decisions now because you're excited about the day? You're more curious about life. You're more curious about what's possible for you, what you're made of, what you can possibly do. Aren't you going to start making different decisions that will lead you down different paths? And if you start leading yourself to different paths, isn't that what then leads to the next breakthrough? Isn't the path that leads you to the next breakthrough the thing that's going to lead you to the next fear? Because every level, you're going to be like, well, damn, I gotta move on up. I gotta now take this next step. Now I gotta do this next thing that I'm afraid of. And then now it's just constantly actually seeking fear. It's seeking discomfort. It's seeking all the things that you don't wanna do because you know that on the other side of that, it's the greatest version of you. And then you literally start to conquer fear. It's not that fear is no longer present, it's you understand the purpose of your relationship to fear. See, I was doing a lot of inner work when it came to fear, okay? There was this weird association I had with fear. I thought for a long time in my life, fear was bad. I thought for a long time in my life that if I experience fear, I must run. If I experience fear, then I must do something so that way I don't feel this way. Throughout the inner work that I've done, I've invested a lot to learn about myself. What I realized was I was envisioning this fear as like this dark cloud, right? This dark purple cloud. And that it was like just filling up my heart space. It was filling up my body and it was clouding everything because I was feeling fear. I didn't realize, again, just like I was teaching you guys just like a couple fucking minutes ago, that the fear was just an indicator. Like it was literally an indicator, but I need it because without the fear, I can never find courage. If I can never find courage, I will never truly be confident in self. And if I'm never confident in self, then I'm never going to be able to do what's needed for me to change my life. So fear actually breeds courage. And I chose to redefine what fear meant for me. I chose to use fear as fuel. If I'm afraid, I know I'm on the right path. If I'm afraid, that means I need to stop, slow down, slow, smooth, smooth is fast. And I need to understand my fear so I can create the courage to move. When you guys really learn how to control emotions to a place where like your negative emotions serve you and you can use them as fuel to catapult you into the next level, you live a different life. W- We're just so used to just being afraid of shit, man. Like it's like normal to us. It's like normal to have conversations about fear. It's like normal to say things that don't serve us. We're afraid of making power moves. We're afraid of investing into ourselves. We're afraid of committing time. We're afraid of waking up early. We're afraid of going to the gym. We're afraid of eating right and being disciplined and not being able to eat good foods like double Western bacon cheeseburgers like Carl's Jr. Like we're afraid of shit. We're afraid of people. We're afraid of judgment. We're just afraid of so much shit. But why? Why are we so afraid of all of that shit? And it's like, we don't even like shit. Like, it's fucking stinks. Like, get the fuck away from me. You know? Like, why can't we live life like that? Where it's like, oh, I don't like this shit. I'm going to clean it up out of my life. I'm not going to let shit be around me. I don't want it. I choose not to. I have my life. I'm going to control it by removing all of the shit and all the turds around me. Boom, done. And you intentionally start attacking those areas. All the parts of your life where just shit's starting to stack up, and you're just like, what the fuck is all of this? And I told you guys, right, in the previous training, you have to get frustrated at your situation because the thing that's going to ignite you is not being sad about the situation. The thing that's going to ignite you is not like feeling depressed about the situation. What's going to ignite you is you're going to be like, I'm so fucking fed up with smelling this bullshit. I'm so fed up of like living this way. I'm so fed up waking up in a state of fear. I'm so fed up with going to sleep anxious because I know I'm going to wake up in a state of fear. I'm so fucking tired of this shit. I'm just going to start cleaning this shit up. I don't know what it's going to do. I don't know where it's going to take me. I just know I don't like living with shit in my life. It could be that simple. If you guys just started getting more angry at your life, not outwardly projecting it onto other people, like don't be a dick and somebody like walks a little too close to you in the aisle or something. I don't know. And then you like mug the shit out of them. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about again, look inward, direct all of your negative emotions inward. And that's the thing that's going to allow you to start cleaning up all of the mess in your life. This is how you conquer everything, guys. This is how you really understand what it's going to take for you to become who you're envisioning in the mind. And sometimes that vision isn't a 10-year vision. Sometimes it's not even 5 years. Shit. Sometimes it's not even like a year. Sometimes it's just next week. And you're just like, I can't even think past next week. Good. Start there. I've worked with the clients that are like, Phil, I don't even plan for my future. I don't even think about that stuff. Like I'm just so like stuck in the day. I'm just trying to get through the day. I can't even think like about next month. I'm just like so constricted to my days. And I'm like, okay, cool, that's fine. So just think about like the end of the week. How do you want to feel at the end of the week? You guys have to give yourself space to win. You have to give yourself steps. You have to give yourself the ability to actually understand where you're orienting your life so you don't waste your life. But remember, programming states the more time you put into something of hustle and grind and of work, the more you get paid. The more you work in your 9 to 5 job, the more you get paid per hour. Realize that in order for you to take yourself to the next level, it's not the amount of time that you hustle that equates how much money you should be making or the results that you get. It's about the quality of the time that you invest into yourself, thinking through critically for the solution. What that means is if you were to spend the next like day, next day, okay, let's make it easy. Today, you spent today and you're just like, I don't know what the fuck this guy feels talking about, but I'm just gonna fucking do it. Cause at least if this doesn't work out, I can just talk shit to him tomorrow. Okay. There, do it. Fucking done. Fucking talk shit. If you actually do this and you don't get something out of it, talk shit all day tomorrow. But you have to be intentional and don't bullshit me because I'll know. If you sit with yourself 2 hours, block out 2 hours, put it on your phone, right? Set a timer, put your phone on airplane mode, turn off all your shit, grab a notepad and a pen. Pen. Don't use a pencil, just use a pen. And I want you to just start writing. But Phil, what do I write about? Just start writing. Okay, this is called self-mastery. If I tell you what to start writing, now you're writing what my perspective is. You start writing. You do you. Oh, what the hell was that? You do you. Okay? You do you. You sit with a notepad. This is what I teach. Genius time. You sit with your notepad and you're just like, "Well, what the fuck am I supposed to write about? What am I supposed to I don't do this shit. I don't journal. I don't talk to myself. Like, what am I supposed to write about?" Start with that. If you don't know what to write about, start writing, "I don't know what to write about. I don't even know why I'm doing this exercise. I don't even know. I don't even know." And if you have to say, "I don't even know," until a whole page is done, write that. Just follow the breadcrumbs of your mind. It's a very powerful exercise, 2 hours. And if you need to stop, right? And you're just like, interesting. I need to think." Put the pen down and think. More words will enter the mind, and then you write it. Those words turn into sentences. Those sentences turn into full thoughts. Those full thoughts create clarity. And after 2 hours of just fucking dumping all your shit from your brain that it's been tangled in a web probably for years, you do this, in 2 hours, your entire perspective of life will change. If it doesn't, feel free to come on the next training and just be like, "Phil, you're full of shit. I literally wasted 2 hours of my life." I invite that because what I know from people that actually do this is the start of a change of life. This is the start of you completely, truly understanding yourself and realizing that all of the things that make you feel fear, it's tiny. It's not a lot, but you've worked it out in your mind to be so much. It's like built this massive fucking knot. It's like one string, but what you've done over time is like you've created a knot, then you created a knot, and then you created a knot, and then more knots. And then it just feels like this big ass thing that you're just like, I don't even know how I'm gonna fucking do this. And just simply by taking the time to like write it out, you're like, oh, I just cleared the knots. Now it's like clear what I have to do. Now it's clear of what's been holding me back. Oh shit, the only thing that's been holding me back is me. It wasn't like Bob. It wasn't my circumstance, it wasn't my job, it wasn't my business, it wasn't like all of these other things. I was holding myself back. That's what it was? Oh, shit. So if I was holding myself back, what does this mean? Well, Phil, what does it mean? I realize now that I've been holding myself back. What does it mean? Right again. That's what it means. You guys have not been primed and trained to like spend time with yourself. Literally. If you've now uncovered the next step, in order to illuminate the path and the next step, you have to do what you just did to illuminate the path. You have to do again what you just did, but better. And it requires time and intentional effort, which is why people don't want to do it because it's actually deep work that you have to do to master self. Because now you have to what? Oh, I got to spend another 2 hours journaling and shit. Damn it. I want to do cool things that make me feel busy. I want to look busy and like never get anywhere for years because it makes me feel good. But just journaling, that's it, bro. I don't know. For those of you that want extra credit, do it again tomorrow. But this time you don't have to do it for 2 hours, just do it for an hour. Build upon the previous thought, build upon the last piece of understanding you found of yourself. And just be like, well, now that I've been holding myself back, what does this mean? Well, maybe it means that I can also, if I'm the cause of me to stop, I can also be the cause for me to go. If I'm the cause for me to go, I'm the cause for me to accelerate. If I'm the cause for me to stop, go, and accelerate, I'm also the cause to allow myself to succeed in the areas that I want in life and in business. So everything is in my control. Well, Phil, what does it mean when everything's in my control? Now you understand the path. In order to truly master self, it's not always having somebody tell you exactly where to dig. It's having people show you where to look, how to look for these places. But you must do the work to dig. If I always say the X is right there, dig there, what happens when I'm gone? How are you going to know where to dig next if I don't teach you how to think about where to dig? Great coaches don't just tell you all the time, like, hey, it's right fucking there, or hey, walk a mile. There's a tree on the left side of the tree. Start digging there. Great coaches don't do that. Great coaches ask you questions to allow you to critically think so you learn how to think and come up with the answers on your own. So that way you can be autonomous. Bad coaches are always coddling you. They're just like, oh, fucking here's the answer. But no, learn how to master yourself. That's where you have true command and control of your life. That's where you like really feel like I can do whatever the fuck I want to do in life because I got me. Imagine when you're at that point in life and business and marriage, in health, where you're just like, no, I can control all of this. I can do it all. Imagine when you get to that level where like you really like not from an ego, not from a pride, but like you really believe in self. You really believe that you can do whatever you set out to do because you're willing to take the time to think through the shit that you've just been trying to like move through because this is the real work. This is the shit that's actually going to change your life. Can you imagine what that's going to look like and feel like when you really like know and you wake up every day, you're just like, I don't know what the fuck my potential is yet, but I'm going to keep finding it. And every day you keep intentionally trying to find your potential, you get further in your potential, the limit of your potential rises. And if that means that every time you move and uncover your potential, it rises, that means your potential is limitless. It's just a current belief system that your potential only goes this high. But as you move up, your potential moves up. As you uncover more of self, your potential rises again. That's how it works. This is why in high performance, if you guys are like me, we like do so much and we're just like, I just feel like I'm not getting anywhere. I feel like I'm doing so much, but I'm not getting closer to the finish line. There's no finish line. There's no finish line because your potential will always grow. And that's what's scary for people because then it's like, oh shit, if my potential always grows and it's limitless, then like, when do I stop? Fear of success. When do I stop? When is enough enough? I mean, like, I literally push myself on a daily basis so much, but when is it like my time to like rest? There's another fear that's going to be waiting for you there. Once you've accomplished everything you want, once you live your dream life, you're going to ask yourself, well, am I done? Do I just like coast now? Do I just do this shit or like what am I supposed to do? even the more there, you have to dig. You have to sit with yourself more. You have to master self more. You have to now see yourself as like a bigger player than you originally saw yourself as. That's the purpose. And you have to learn how to conquer the fears along the way, which is also going to tell you, like, I don't know if I can be that guy. I don't know if I can be that for the world. I mean, even getting to this level was a fucking fight. But how do I be that for the world? How is that possible? And that's where, again, you have to conquer the next level of fear. When you guys do that, just understand it's not conquering fear, and it happens. It's very accelerated, right? So depending on which level you're at, whether you're like 9 to 5 job, in a high level career, business owner, entrepreneur, whatever. Okay, successful, unsuccessful, whatever. You have to conquer each stage, and each stage shows you what your next level looks like. Your next level is limitless. And so the whole purpose of this whole journey through self mastery is learning how to conquer the levels that each fear shows you that you have to conquer. Spend as many weeks, as many months, as many years mastering that space because there is no rush. When you guys think like in high performance, like you always feel like you're not doing enough, you're not good enough, you're not pushing enough, you need to get to that end result faster. The truth is, you're the only person that's actually creating the anxiety. You're the only person creating the pressure on yourself. There's nobody else. If you could learn how to like remove your timelines and just be like, I don't know when I'm going to do this shit, but I'm doing it. You become more intentional throughout your day to crush your day. You become more intentional with every decision that you make, every time you say no, every time that you create more space and time for yourself. You actually end up getting the result faster because you're actually going to do the work that creates the result versus just sitting on fucking wanting the result that you're not working for. It's like it's life changing. And you have to master that at each level. And the thing is, and again, like nobody taught me this stuff. So let me teach it to you now. Every level that you reach requires even more thinking time, even more critical thinking, even more time and genius. And the weird thing that you're going to have to get used to is spending more time not doing, but more so thinking. And people are like, well, what the fuck? Like, are you telling me that I'm going to be able to accomplish all of my goals by just sitting there with a fucking notepad? That if that I don't have to like hustle, hustle and grind, and like that's not what I should be doing? That is what I'm saying. If you think that the answers you seek is gonna come from you just straight grinding it out without you thinking through shit, that's where you're wrong. Think about it. The hustle that you have is good. It's a great work ethic, but you have to balance that with critical thinking so you know where to orient yourself and all of your efforts. There was a quote, I might be misquoting this. I just heard this kind of like along the journey, but it was like an Abraham Lincoln quote, right? It goes, if I had to cut down a tree and I only had 4 hours to do it, I would spend 3 hours or some shit sharpening the axe, not 4 hours chopping at the fucking tree. Why? Because sharpening the axe will allow him to, in a shorter period of time, cut through the tree. Sharpening the axe also allows him to think through the strategy with chopping down the tree, how thick the tree is, what angle he needs to cut at, how much power he needs to put, all of those variables. So somebody can work 4 hours and cut down the tree with so much effort, or they can sharpen the axe mentally and literally and do it in a 1 hour time period. What you guys have to do in life is learn how to think for 3 hours to execute for the one. And it's so hard for people because, again, programming states you must hustle for 4 hours to achieve 4 hour results. The truth is, as you guys learn how to level up in all areas of life, the more you can critically think, the better the solutions you're going to be able to provide for yourself. Okay, I'm gonna leave you guys with this because I gotta do a YouTube video. Um, the shit doesn't stop. Like this is just creative outflow. Um, I used to when I had my first BMW, it was 1993 BMW 325i. It was my like project. I loved working on my cars. Um, but my dumbass was a YouTube kid. So I would YouTube everything. I would learn how to like deconstruct everything in my engine bay from YouTube. And it wasn't until like later that I like screwed this up multiple times. And if you guys have worked on cars, you know what I'm talking about, especially like the first time around. I started like taking off like all of these parts to my engine, and I'd like be YouTubing it, right? Following YouTube. Like, okay, do this, do this. This is how you change the serpentine belt, let's say, for example. And I would start removing all of these parts. Mind you, this was my only car. Um, I'd remove all the parts, and then I'd realize, fuck, I don't have a tool. Or shit, I just stripped this screw. Or shit, I got the wrong belt. And then I'd put myself in a predicament because I would just execute without thinking through things. I'd be missing a part, and then I'd have to go to like what is it? Auto something? I don't it's been so long. I can't even remember shit. Um something. AutoZone, there you go. I had to go to AutoZone. I had to walk my ass like 3 to 4 miles to get to AutoZone, then walk my ass 3 to 4 miles back. And then I'd be like, "Okay, cool. So it's cold and it's late as shit. Now it's dark, and I don't even have a fucking light. So now I have to use my phone to use as light to fix the car so I can get around tomorrow for work." Awesome, Phil. That was a great plan. The thing is, because I never even thought through my problems, I did this shit for years. I literally just kept working on my cars and having the same exact issue. And it wasn't until I was like, well, why don't I just like watch the whole video first? Why don't I go buy all the parts and make sure they're all correct first? Why don't I make sure I have all the tools, I have the lights, I have everything I need? Why don't I do all of that first? And then somehow, some way, I did that first. I battle planned better, and I never had that issue again. I spent more time thinking, making sure everything was prepared. So when I execute, it was a seamless execution. Do that in your life. Don't be me and waste literally 8 to like 12 hours. Like it was a joke. I would spend a whole Sunday doing this shit. Like what a waste of a whole day. But I got to learn about myself. So now I get to use it as a lesson. Learn from my lessons, learn from my failures. If I knew then what I knew back then, a little bit later, I would have battle planned a little bit more, would have saved me probably like 8 hours most of the time. I would have got the same job done, but it would have taken less effort because I used my head more. Think about where you're not applying this to your health, your fitness, your nutrition, where you're not applying this to your relationships, whether you're single, you're engaged, you're married, whether you're in a career or in a business. Think about where you're working harder, not smarter. And I want you guys to remember that the whole purpose of you taking the time to conquer your fears, master yourself, is so you can get to the same end result, but in a much shorter timeline, which gives you much more time to create more for yourself and for your family. Don't do what our parents have done. They brought us here to this level, to this point. Do better than what they were able to do. Optimize based on where they're at. Just like we continue the thought process from like we write today for 2 hours, we continue on the thought process tomorrow. Continue on where your parents left off, whether they were there for you or not. Start from where they ended so you don't have to start from where they started. You have to like intentionally learn how to just build upon things, think through things, battle plan, strategize, then implement and deploy. It has to be done, guys. Otherwise, you're going to be the person that takes 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 years to get to something you could have done in a year. I want you to get there soon, sooner rather than later. And again, over the course of this 29 episode training, whatever we're going to call it, do these small things. It's not always the big things that change your life. It's like compounding efforts of all these little things. And all of these little things will change your life. I promise you that. It's not always the things that like give us that dopamine hit. We're just like, ooh, now I feel like I'm like winning. Doesn't have to be that way. It can totally be all these like little things that you just have not been doing that you got to get back to. You ever hear like get back to the basics? This is what it is, you know? So, that's all I got for you guys today. Okay. That's all I got. I hope that it was valuable for you guys as always. I'm gonna see you guys in tomorrow's trainings. I forgot to record whatever's happening on Instagram. It looks like Instagram, we had a lot of people popping in, showing some love. What's up? What's up? Too easy. Awesome, guys. And again, I think I'm gonna leave all of this stuff on YouTube at least. I don't know. I don't know how this whole situation works. But if it doesn't like stay, I don't know if they expire or whatever. I'll have it available for you guys. But again, thanks for joining me again. Hopefully, that you guys actually do what I'm telling you. Um, People invest a lot of money to learn like these simple things for me, believe it or not, because I know exactly what simple thing they need to work on in their life to change their life. And I've changed a lot of lives and I want to change your life. And it's just waking up with me every morning to just plug in and then do some note taking and shit. So anyway, peace guys. Much love. I'll be here tomorrow. Crush it.